Was it last night your 30th school? What'd you call it?
Broadway High School class reunion.
Where'd you have it?
At the Southern Charm.
You have more meetings there. Do you know them?
I do.
Who are they?
Don Jacobson owns Cleveland Exteriors.
I don't know if I know him.
He lets the Builders Association use it.
Free? Mm-hmm. You know, that was a neat idea. It worked. Mm-hmm. Is that property been in his family for a long time or what?
No, he just bought it. It was for sale. He lived behind it.
But I mean, to do that took some nerve, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. That's a $200,000 building, I guess?
Oh, no, that's more. It's huge.
4?
I'd say 350.
So 350, I mean, and you're hoping to get people to
use it.
What led him to do that?
I think he had always wanted some sort of venue, and then that property came open. He didn't want anyone to build an apartment or something beside of him because he lives behind it. So he bought it and took a gamble.
You know, somebody could live upstairs and write it off their taxes.
I guess if they were clever enough.
Who'd you graduate with?
Angie Guerin Heron. She owns Wallpaper Connection.
Oh, yeah, Angie. Mm-hmm. I know her.
That's my best friend.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How long have y'all been big friends?
Since the 7th grade, 1985.
She married
Mark Heron.
Mark Heron. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's on the zoning board with me. Variance board, county variance board.
Yes, and I think they just moved him to the Bradley County Planning Commission.
Oh, really?
And then Keith Jones took his place.
That's right. I remember that. That was our last meeting. Mm-hmm. I didn't know he took his place. Was there a lot of people at the reunion?
I think around 150.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a good crowd.
You're a lot younger than I am, though.
I don't know. Don't tell my age.
Did they have music?
Yes, they had a DJ.
Who was it? What kind of music? That era?
The 80s and 90s, yeah. It was good.
Late 80s?
Yeah.
Early 90s?
Yes. Great DJ, but I don't remember his name.
What songs were late 80s?
I don't know. I remember Funky Comedina for some reason from last night, but I don't know. I don't know the era of music.
That was about 83.
Okay, well, we were still playing it.
Yeah. 84, that era. So now I understand you got to be at your parents' anniversary. Mm-hmm. How long have they been married?
51.
Golly, can you imagine?
Yeah, no.
51 years.
Put up with the same person.
Same person, same
dedication right there.
Yep. Or no options. One or the other, right?
Yeah, she picked him up hitchhiking in California.
What was she doing in California?
She lived there, and he was in the Navy.
What was she doing there?
She worked for the government food stamp division, and I guess...
Was she from Cleveland?
No, she's from California, born and raised there in San Francisco, Oakland. So he was hitchhiking across the bridge or something.
It was okay to pick up a hitchhiker then, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to if they had a uniform on.
Yeah, if he was in uniform, they always picked him up.
Was he from here?
Yes.
His last name's?
Peak.
Peak? Mm-hmm. Is there a lot of Peaks around here?
A few.
What did his family do?
Papa was bulldoze operator and a good Republican that always went to campaigns, took me to my first one, and that was Fred Thompson's campaign. Things like that. They lived up in North Georgia, like Fannin County, and then migrated this way. Then Dad was born in Greasy Creek, and then the entire family just landed in Bradley.
You know, a lot of people were raised in Greasy Creek. I don't know why that was.
Don't know.
I think that's where a lot of people, they worked somewhere that was conducive to Greasy Creek. I'm not sure what it is, but there's a lot of people that their grandparents lived in Greasy Creek.
Yeah, Papa worked on that flume.
That's what it was.
So, and then Dad was born in a house there, not in a hospital.
You ever go to Greasy Creek now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've got good rivers and outdoor activity up there.
From Webb Store to Chilhowie, right?
Yeah. Webb's is great.
I go there quite a bit. Does now when he how did he get her to come here, being somebody from California?
I don't know that he told her the whole truth about Tennessee until she got here. She was shocked.
Was she already married to him then, or how
Yeah,
did
she married him in California in a big rose garden up there, and then they moved here. And when she came home, she said the first thing she saw was pig pens and chickens and different things like that, and she was in shock. And they didn't have telephone and things like that.
What part of California was she in?
San Francisco, Oakland.
So it was a metropolitan area.
Right.
So that was a big shock.
Buses, yeah. She was always on a bus.
She had the accent, I'm sure.
She doesn't now, but she did.
Yeah.
She's been here longer.
She doesn't mind being here now, right?
No.
Now, when you're from the Bates, is it Bates Pike?
Mm-hmm. Gillen Road and Bates Pike.
Where exactly is Gillen Road?
It is a road that parallels with APD 40, one road up. We're right there on the city border.
So that would be close to Randolph Samples Road, or
Oh no, we're at the top. Randolph Samples is way on down.
So you're right on
the city line almost.
Yeah.
Johnson Boulevard. And then,
oh, yeah, right below it.
Yes.
Yeah.
One road. There used to be a peach orchard there that John Gillen
That's
and
right.
Robert Gillen had.
That's right.
So
So you went to what school?
Oak Grove. Then Truett, and then Bradley.
So you're really from that area?
Yeah. We walked to school a few times when it was safe to do that.
Yeah. That was a long walk.
No, not too bad. Took us 10 minutes.
At least.
Yeah. Kids, you're fast walkers.
So, but when I met you, you were hanging wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense because Angie was
Best friend.
She was selling wallpaper before you were hanging?
Yes. Their family sold wallpaper, I don't know how long. And her uncle and dad would hang wallpaper. Then in the 7th grade, I met her, and then I worked at the store and did things. And
Just as a friend?
yeah, and then I started hanging it. Her dad would take us and drop us off, and self-taught how to hang it. I did that all the way through high school.
Boy, you've done a lot of wallpaper.
Mm-hmm. Tons of it.
You hung some for me back before you got into the construction business.
Yep, that's how I met you.
And then you got in the construction business and took off.
That's what we did.
Do you realize now the construction business is harder than just hanging wallpaper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a whole lot different, isn't it?
Yeah, wallpaper's less stressful.
You ever wish you was just hanging wallpaper?
Sometimes I wonder if the simple life was the better life, but I'm doing what I love, so even though it's complicated.
What made you want to start construction?
I liked the process, but I wanted to know how to do each step. I didn't want a contractor telling me, well, you got to do it this way. I wanted to know why. So I kept hanging wallpaper all the way through high school, and then I went to college, and I didn't like college, and I was going to do x-ray technician and this and that, and my dad was like, you'll never like that. And so I got a business degree, and then he said, you just need to get out of college and do your wallpaper. And I told him he's crazy. I said, you can't make a living hanging wallpaper. And he said, you hang wallpaper for 1 year on your own, and if you can't pay your bills, I'll pay them for you. So I made a deal with him, and I did it. He never paid any of my bills. Wallpaper was like crazy. 2 or 3 jobs a day hanging paper. So then David May and all of you guys used me to do all your wallpaper. Well, David May got me doing other things like sanding down steps at houses, and then I would stain those steps, and then he would get me doing something else that was simple, cleaning construction sites. And then I thought, I don't want to be on this end, I want to be on that end. So then I built my first house, and then I wanted to build another one, and then I realized the law says you couldn't build one and sell unless you get a contractor's license. So I worked for a while to figure out how to get the license, and then after a few more years of experience, went and got the license, and then dove in.
It's tough business, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think's the toughest part of it?
Trying to make customers understand the process and keep them from being frustrated. When they're frustrated, it makes my life harder.
You start scrambling for a way to keep them entertained, almost.
But I think I explain it well and work with them, and I don't lie to the customer. So as long as I don't lie to them and tell them the truth about how it goes, I haven't had any issues so far with customs.
Knock on wood, right?
Yeah, I love customs though.
So you build any spec houses or just customs?
Both.
Does the customs just fill in?
No, I have more customs. I've got 8 customs and 2 specs now. So, yeah.
Were you at the office today?
Every day.
Saturdays and Sundays?
Oh yeah.
Is there some Sundays you don't go, or you go every Sunday?
I go every day for some time. Not all day on Sunday. And then I help mom and dad during the week and Saturdays, but I still go back and forth to the office. I have renters that I have to get rent from and
You have an office
do paperwork.
manager?
Just me.
Just do it all? When do you write the checks to the subs?
They turn in on Wednesdays and I pay on Fridays. So Thursdays usually I do all the printing of checks for whoever's turned in.
You don't hand write them?
No, I just print them.
Is that easier?
Yeah. Much.
I hand write on mine.
I know you still do. I know another couple contractors that do that.
It seems like you can you can remember it more if you're writing it or something.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
right
it
now.
becomes real money or something. You know, if you ever had to hand people real cash for what they did, it'd be hard to build anything, wouldn't it? Because it means more or something. Do you estimate when people say, hey, do you ever bid against people, like say, we want to get a price?
Not anymore. Don't have time for that. I just kind of guess in my head, tell them, hey, right now it's this per square foot, but it's hard to tell that right now with the prices.
And then they'll say, well, we've got to have something to take to the bank.
When they sign a contract, I'll give them the estimate to take to the bank.
Not the estimate before they sign the contract.
I just give my guess.
Now, custom homes now are ranging, what, $190 for a basic one?
190 to
No.
225. I'm telling you, the other day I built a 900 square foot house. The framing package without windows, without exterior doors, without shingles was $58,000. 900 square foot. Just a box. And that's how much their lumber was. They were over 30 in lumber.
Boy, that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. But I've been trying to prepare everybody to tell them, if you want to start now, this is what you're going to see and pay. Be prepared at 200 is what I say, and have 80 laying around.
It's hard to tell the bank that, isn't it? Because people will tend to spend a little more than they want to. And then where do they get the money, right? You got to have the bank willing to put more in, I guess.
It's the only thing I can see.
But really the problem is all the other rules. The whole process is getting so complicated now.
Yeah, we have to actually be the paper keepers of everybody to make everybody else do their job. We have to have all their workers' comp and liability forms. You've got to keep up with everybody's tax forms, everything. Social Security. It's ridiculous.
I'll get letters from the IRS saying, we're garnishing this guy's wages. If you pay him anything, tell us. And I hadn't used him in a year.
Yeah. Or you just go, I'm not getting involved with that. Don't have time.
I just write on it, he doesn't work for me anymore, and mail it back. But now, how long can a person go before it just starts to drive them crazy? I mean, 8 custom homes.
Can't take on anymore.
I built like 12 at one year. They were big houses, and it just about run me crazy. I guess I was going. I don't have the desire to do that anymore.
Yeah. Some of them I should not have taken on, but I did. So now they're staggered enough that I'm in different phases, so it's okay, but I still have to visit all the job sites And I try to visit them twice a day. Now I can't. It's just impossible. But I've got a big map and a efficient driving time of which ones I'll do first, and because I have 2 in Polk County. So, yeah.
One time I had 1 in Pikeville, 2 in Benton, 2 in Etowah, and 4 in Cleveland. And I couldn't hardly get around everywhere.
Yeah, we're not taking any more out of Bradley County. Just Polk, if it's right there in Polk. But over the mountain, we won't go, and down 411 or anywhere.
Chattanooga's worse too.
Yeah, I don't want to build anything in Chattanooga for them. Not the people, it's just
You know, the last one I built in Chattanooga, they assigned you a liaison to communicate with the inspections department.
their inspections are horrible.
You didn't talk to the inspections part. You talked to the liaison that talked to them.
Well, they lost what it's all about. They lost the connectivity of people, the human touch. They don't know you, so they don't have any obligations. They won't help you in any way whatsoever. They're more strict than the state of Tennessee guidelines and the laws that they put out. They are more stringent.
In Chattanooga?
Yes. For what reason? Just because somebody's pencil pushing and wants to put their thumb on somebody and tell them what to do.
You know, if they really wanted to help people get better housing, they would lower
Affordable
the
housing.
process,
Yeah.
this process.
Affordable housing. The more restrictions, the price goes up.
Now, when you're talking about $190 a square foot, you're talking about granite countertops, right?
Not including your land.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody puts that in. I mean, when's the last time we put in a Formica cabinet or something other than granite or quartz or quartzite?
Well, you know, things switch all the time. I remember you had to have custom cabinets and they wouldn't buy prefab, and now they don't. Now they want prefabs and they wouldn't have made in the garage. So things, what they want changes.
Well, we only have maybe a handful of custom cabinet makers still around. 2 that I know of. Brad Guerin and my neighbor, I can't think of his name right this second.
Aaron Brown? Or?
Yes, Aaron Brown and Brad Guerin are about the 2 nicest custom cabinets you'll get, but they can only do so much. So you've got all these houses out here being built. You've got to have some.
If you wanted
production
Aaron to do a
cabinets.
set of cabinets, and have them in by November, you better call him yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think he could get 2 years. Maybe some small kitchen he might be able to, but he's got him a bigger building now, bigger shop, so he may be able to.
Maybe.
Yeah, but that would be close. Brad, I know, is always a year. Always.
Who can wait a year?
He's under demand. But he makes beautiful kitchens. Both of them do.
Boy, yeah, Aaron does, I know for sure. I don't know the other guy.
He's Angie's brother.
Oh, is that right?
Angie Guerin, yeah.
Where's his place at?
Behind his dad's house on Cow Lake Road, Cow Lake Lane. You can get to it from either.
Does he have a paint booth and do all that?
I haven't been in his shop, but yeah, I'd say so.
It's getting to be a lost art. I think in the future they won't have cabinet makers like that. It'll just be purchased stuff because people can't afford it.
It's expensive.
I mean, people don't want to work for 2 years for their cabinets, you know, to
Yeah.
pay for them.
And then on the other hand, you've got people that want to throw away 30 or 40 extra on lumber to frame their house that they'll never get back. That is what bewilders me.
And if they waited 6 months,
It may be back down. Maybe.
and most likely will.
Yeah, I hope so. Except for the Advantech and Zip and Lamboards and things.
Do you go to the jobs on Saturdays?
Yes, I've had people working this Saturday, so yeah, try to.
What about Sundays?
No, I don't have too many people. I've got a painter that is working on Sunday. But
We've worked the past 7 Sundays.
yeah, I don't encourage it or make them, so I know everybody needs a day off,
Yeah.
but I'll just happen to look on my cameras and see somebody on the job site.
Do you put a camera on the jobs?
Yes.
Like one of those ringers?
It's a Arlo Go. It's through cell service, so through Verizon satellite. And then I've got a solar panel.
So what
with
do
it.
you do? You put it, where do you put it on the job?
I just hide it. Nobody sees it. So that I can get a tag coming in.
So you just go to your phone and see who's there? Mm-hmm. Well, that'd keep
Well,
you
it can
tore up.
alarm me.
That'd keep you tore up all the time.
If you set the alarm, yeah. because it'll ring and ding and go look at it. But even if you've got a tag, sometimes there's nothing you can do about the people stealing.
Yeah. You know, I've had just a few 2x4s stolen in my whole time. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that's great. And we had some job sites hit on Bellingham last week. 6 job sites, not mine, but a fellow builder. And he's got cameras, which helped, I think, get these people.
You know, some builders' risk will cover that theft.
Up to 6 months if it's nailed down. If it's not nailed down, it doesn't.
It was nailed down, right? I tell them it's nailed down.
Yeah, all they heard of it was nailed down.
It was
They
nailed
just
down.
pried it up. Yeah.
You ever have dreams at night about the jobs?
I used to hang wallpaper in my sleep, but no.
If you had to hang wallpaper now, who would you get?
I think Don Short may still be hanging paper. And then the
it-
Wallpaper Connection has a few names that they recommend out of Georgia, but I get calls every other day to hang wallpaper.
I use Don, or I use a guy, Jeff Talent in Chattanooga.
Okay.
You know him? He's a real nice guy.
I'll hang it for friends.
When
Certain
would you
people.
have time?
I just make time. I try not to, but I have done it.
Do you like construction or rentals better?
I don't know. I think they go hand in hand. My rentals are all new, so I don't have a lot of maintenance. And I have like an 8-page lease agreement, so I don't have bad tenant problems. But I do have HVAC problems where people don't change their filters. But pretty much I have good tenants. I don't have drama.
You still
Yeah.
have the occasional sink leaks, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Who do you send out to do that?
My plumber, Troy Goodacre, or sometimes if Troy doesn't want to handle that, because Troy's got a lot going on too. Sometimes I'll call Jason Owens and they'll run out and fix one too.
I don't know how Jason gets around everywhere he does, but he does. He manages it, doesn't
Yeah.
he? He really does.
Yeah, him and Josh both.
They work nights and everything,
They do.
and then they still go on vacation. I don't know how they do it.
What's a vacation?
You weren't you on vacation here a while back?
I did get one this year. Finally. March.
How do you have anybody check the job while you're gone, or?
Yeah, Keith, my partner.
Oh,
Keith Jones.
that helps.
Yeah.
Does he go to the jobs also every day?
He goes in the afternoon if yeah. He tries to do it all once a day too.
Boy,
But it's hard to send somebody you don't. If I had somebody that worked for me, I'd still have to go with them for months on end to check job sites so that they know what they're looking at when they get there to see if there's any issues. Because, you know,
and a lot of times these people already know what to do. You're just checking that they're doing what the customer said they wanted.
or if they need anything and you want to keep them on the job site.
Yeah, without leaving.
Yep. And you can call in to your rep and tell them to send something, deliver something, or whatever.
How about 09? Did you run out of work in 09 when things went bad? What'd you have going then?
I think we had 2 or 3 a year at that time still. And I was still hanging wallpaper maybe.
Weren't you doing Norman Chapel Road then?
Yep. Got started on it.
So you had that to do.
Yeah. 4 quads there. Yeah, we just kept going.
But it wasn't a big money year, obviously, right?
No. But we survived.
Your work, could you do it out of your house or you have to have an office, do you think?
If you had an office at home, but we've got a 5-bay warehouse now. We're like hoarders, you know, if you have a 2x4 left over, it's going to the shop. But then the shop got full, so now I need to declutter, see what I've got. I bet I could build a house out of there. Maybe.
I've thought that, and then when I get in there, there's
Junk.
nothing in
Yeah,
there.
it's like, oh,
But
why to keep that?
But I feel like I got to keep it, you know. So do you think that are you really glad you got in the construction business, or would you have been better off just to hang wallpaper?
I'm glad. I think the wallpaper business was killing my hands, like arthritis, doing this so much, and lower back, getting on the ladder all the time. But I still work on my job sites now. I mean, I raked out a crawl space the other day. So I still do stuff. Just try not to kill myself. I need to delegate. I'm not good at delegating like you are.
I'm not as good as I look like I am.
Yeah, but you've developed it over
Yeah.
the years. I never could.
Well, when did you decide I'm going to run for county commissioner?
Seat came available. Howard Thompson had resigned.
What year was that?
11, maybe 2010, 2011, 2012.
Boy,
And
it seems like a long time ago. It's not been any longer than that.
that's it, I think.
So what'd you do? Just raise your hand?
No, my dad, he said, hey, you should run for that county commission seat. This is the district. And I was like, nobody gonna elect a girl in the 4th district? And he was like, they will. They all know your papa. You're a peak. Go for it. He was a good Republican.
What was his name?
Kermit Roosevelt. They called him Rosie Peak. He had the first janitorial business at the courthouse. Then they moved the courthouse to the corner there, across from 5 Point Cafe. And then he went back to the new courthouse as a janitor. But yeah, he was a good, I miss him. But yeah, he took me to my first Fred Thompson campaign. So then Dad said, hey, you should run. And I was like, okay, I'll run. Why not? So I did.
What'd you like about your grandfather?
My grandfather?
Yeah.
He was honest, told it like it was.
Blunt?
Yeah. But he was nice about it. Yeah, he was very caring. Very caring.
How old was he when you died? How old were you when he died?
I think I might have been, it was 2000, right before Bush, because he would have loved to have seen Bush elected. I don't remember how old I was, late 20s maybe. I mean, I lived down the road from him on the Polk County, Bradley County line. I had 10 acres. And I even developed that 10 acres and named it Roosevelt's Peak, which is his name. But I would raise Jersey calves at that time. I don't know how I had time doing that. And then he would take them to slaughterhouse and we split them. And he was a good guy.
And so he took you to the first Fred. Which one did you say?
My first time going to a rally was Fred Thompson's, and he was on Wildwood Avenue, and he was a fence company at the time. I think that's where Don Fence Company used to be.
It was, yeah.
All right, so he hosted Fred Thompson there, and Papa took me.
That was a big deal having Fred Thompson here, because
Yeah,
I remember when he was running, he was
Yeah.
boy, he was tall, wasn't he?
And he was dating a country music singer at the time.
He died, didn't he, like a few
Yeah.
years ago? So what did you think about that? How old were you then at the rally?
Early 20s, yeah, early 20s.
What was you thinking?
Just loved it.
What did you love about
Republican
it?
aspect of it, just cheering on a good Republican. Yeah, my dad and Papa were there, and they were all about it. That's when I started getting in politics and watching it. You know, we always voted. Papa would send the list of who you're going to vote for. And then Dad would make sure we all got the list, made sure we all knew who we were voting for.
Why was it important for him to vote and to vote?
Probably because of the age and the era he came out of. You know, they still believe you can make a difference. Sometimes you can.
What era would he have been in?
He was born in 1910, I think, or maybe 1914.
So he saw the
20s.
Depression?
Yes, yeah.
He saw World War II?
Yeah. Say so.
He saw the Korean War?
Yep. And he had 8 or 10 kids. I can't remember some numbers, but he had a lot of mouths to feed, and he always worked. Never thought anybody owed him anything. He worked for it.
So when your dad told you should run, what was your first step?
Went and picked up a petition. Set up a treasury account, I think, and then I went and got names on to sign my petition, and then I went and turned it in. But first, I went and asked to be appointed, and the commissioners at that time didn't want anybody that may run appointed because they would have a leg up. So I didn't get appointed, so then I had to run in the big election, and there were 6 of us.
Why would they not appoint somebody? That's like saying we're going to appoint somebody that's probably not any good.
Yeah. I don't know. They didn't want to give them a leg up. That's what they said. So they appointed somebody, and that person still ran in the next election.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fishy.
Yeah. But I beat 5 other men.
How'd you do it? Just worked hard or
Yeah.
what?
Perk Evans at the time was helping me, and he and Rob Alderman gave me some advice and helped me out. We used billboards. I was the first one to use the big billboards, and we used social media, Facebook. All
How
that.
many's in that
Commission?
district?
2 per district.
But how many voters were there possible to vote for you?
Oh, I have no idea. I have that number.
Is
but
it like 5,000 or
No, I don't think so.
2,000 maybe?
I think it's more like 1,500 maybe.
So you almost knew who they were.
Oh, you got a list of everybody that is registered. And then you have a list of who voted in the last election, who voted the election before, or how long it's been.
When you as your county commissioner, do you feel like it's harder than the public would think it is, or not as hard?
Oh, it's harder. Yeah. The only reason I went into it was thinking I would make a difference. You know, oh, I'll make a difference. I'm going to straighten some things up. And then you get in there and then you're like, this is nothing like I thought it would be.
It's almost like we don't have any control. We just sort of, I don't know.
You're one.
Just keep it from going the other way, I guess.
We try, but I'm one of 14 up there.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. And everybody has their own opinion. And some of them really just want to keep rubber stamping the budgets, not really looking at them. And then I want to look at it and bring some things to attention, but doesn't matter. Who cares? Nobody cares. They don't read the newspaper. Half of them, even if you tell them the issues, they're like, oh, well, and they keep voting the same people in. That's our problem. They keep voting the same people in. But just think, if here at Little Bradley County, if you can't make a big difference, I mean, we try, we continue to try. Think about Washington and how corrupt it is.
They probably have no chance of making any difference.
I don't think so.
Wonder what does make a difference.
Voters becoming educated about the issues. We don't just throw money out the window and care where it goes. We do. We watch every nickel and dime. In your own household you do. So if you're giving the government money, shouldn't you be educated about where your money's going?
People don't care.
That's it.
As long
They
as you're
don't
not
care.
getting money directly out of their pocket, they don't care.
So maybe we should change the system of how they pay. Maybe we should go door to door and say, hey, it's time to pay up your taxes. And make them hand it out in cash.
Then they'd make a difference.
Then they would go, oh, wait, where's this going?
Yeah, where's the newspaper? I want to read up on this. Well, what do y'all meet? Once to twice a month?
Every Monday.
Every Monday, golly.
Work session, then the next Monday's voting, work session, voting.
What time do they meet on the work session?
Noon on the second and third Wednesday, and the first and last of the month we meet at 7. Then the second and third we meet at noon. Yeah.
Isn't that kind of, things like it just have it the same time every day?
Yeah, they're trying to make sure all taxpayers have opportunity.
Yeah.
People that work can come to the 7 o'clock sessions.
That's right.
Yeah.
How much does that pay? $600 a month, or
I think it's close to like 800 a month.
not worth it, is it?
No, that's gas maybe.
Yeah.
And harassment.
Now, when you ever been on the planning commission, sometimes I'd have to vote against people that I knew and good friends. And that was really tough.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's really tough.
Yeah,
It's
and they don't
almost-
talk to you for a while.
Yeah, they don't understand all of the things that were about it. And some things you're not really voting on, yay or nay, you're just voting on whether it's the process was done right, not whether or not you can do it or not. It's just this was the right process. And then you're on the Cleveland Variance Board, right?
City of Cleveland BZA board, yes. Yeah, and you got to vote no a lot there.
And then you're on the Home Builders Board.
And I will be the state president of Home Builders Association of Tennessee in 2023.
You're
Be
the
the
first
second
one
one.
since Austin. Was it Austin Stevenson that was?
Yeah, there was 4 from here, I think. Dennis Epperson was the last one from this area.
Is the National Home Builders as big a deal as it was, or is it playing out, or?
No, it's up there. They just met with Biden's White House team a few weeks ago about the lumber crisis.
Mm-hmm. What did he say he's going to do about it?
I don't think he came to the meeting, but the liaison said they were going to look into it and try to make people go back to work so that they could get the supply and demand down.
Mm-hmm. Boy, all that's so complicated. Mm-hmm. How can you stand going to all these meetings? I've got burnt out with it.
Yeah, the meetings kind of burn you out, but the ones that go to my pocket, well, the county commission, I'm elected to do that, so I have to go to that. But the Builders Association, that's my livelihood, so I try to go to those and keep up with it. But they try not to burn us out. We just have 3 major ones a year, and then if you want to go to the nationals, you can.
Do you just run to the meetings and when they're out of town, or do you stay the whole week and do the whole thing?
Oh, I just run to them for 2 days and get back. Now, our local one, we have one a month, and that's every 3rd Wednesday. And we try to feed everybody for free. And we have a sponsor.
But not in the summer, right?
Yeah.
In the summer, too?
Yeah, we're full house now. 75 every meeting.
Yeah, but and who gets the sponsors?
Whoever is, like if Wholesale Supply is sponsoring next month, they may get a vendor, like Renai water heater, I think was their last one.
They have a guy come and talk and everything?
Yeah, but we limit them, like 5-10 minutes because everybody's got to get back to work.
Yeah, that's just an hour.
Yep. And we have those at Southern Charm.
Do you ever wish you weren't on all these committees?
Sometimes I wonder if there's some I could shave, but they're all important to me somehow.
What's the point of all this?
The point?
Yeah.
I wondered that the other day. Why do we do that? I guess it's life. Got to keep going. And you want to make it better for the next generation.
How come? I mean, I know we
hope.
all say that as a phrase,
Yeah,
but
but
we
why?
really? Do we really?
Well, I want the best for my nephews that I helped raise. Zach works for me. He's a framer. He works for Bill Bell, and he did work for Charles Blankenship. And then Bill had a brother retire, so Zach went to framing with him. And then Tanner, he does concrete here locally. So I just don't want them to have to work so hard or more restrictions put on them where they can't make a good living. I don't want them just out here beating the grind for no reason. Maybe so they can have a family. That's all I can think.
That's really your...
I'm hoping that's the, I'm hoping there's a reason for all of it. I want to be comfortable later. I want to retire early. I wanted to retire at 50, but that's 2 years away. It never happened, so. But maybe 55.
It depends on where the economy's at when you get ready to retire. That's a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. And how many maintenance issues I'm going to have with apartments that year.
Or how many jobs you got coming up. If you're a year out, then you're 2 years before you can be done.
Mm-hmm. True.
Do you ever think that the subcontractor is different than he was when you started?
That the subs are different?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. They're all so busy and working for too many people at the same time. I wish we had one per, and keep everybody going. I think we could keep one sub for every. Why can't we do it like assembly lines? Have our own plumber, and then Troy would only work for me. Of course, I know all the other contractors going, no, Troy's got to work for me too.
Yeah.
But what if that one sub just worked for you and you could keep houses going like an assembly line? They go from this one to this one to this one.
Because the customer will not make decisions quick enough for him to do it like that.
True. But I try to make my customers get a lot of it done previous, maybe 3 or 4 weeks prior to needing it. Mm-hmm. And now we're having to because of orders.
Yeah,
trying to get things in.
I'm waiting like 12 weeks on windows.
Oh, yeah.
If you want an almond window, you're in trouble.
Any color is 12 to 18 weeks. Yeah. Unless they have them in stock, which are the lower grade window.
Mm-hmm. What about I'm having trouble if it's got aluminum on it or glass or plastic. Mm-hmm. Seems like if it's like a cabinet hinge, I've got one job, we're waiting on cabinet hinges. Can't get them. The self-closing things.
I haven't ran into that yet.
That's the weirdest thing. You know, because the customer doesn't want them to open up. They want them to open completely out. And you have to have a special hinge
for
that does that. So anyway, they're hard to get. But I remember when I started, if you had a subcontractor that worked for you, he didn't work for other builders. That was almost a...
exclusive?
Yeah, it was more of an exclusive thing. You know, it was, he's my framer, he's my plumber.
Then that would be an employee we would have to take out.
They didn't go into all that then. It was more of a assumed commitment. And but that all went away when the economy went down in '08. And then you just got whoever was available. But have you ever thought about how hard it is to be a subcontractor? You know, you're talking to somebody about building, and you're giving them estimates, and you're getting all lined up and scheduled, but you don't call all those subs. So they didn't even accept the job, but you've taken it, and now you're wondering why they can't be there when you committed them without asking them. So we have to give some leniency to the fact that they're not available because they didn't even know I had this job going.
Yeah. I try to send the plans to all of them first, though, and say, hey, we're bidding out this house. If there's anything extraordinary you see on it that is going to cost extra, then let me know so that I make sure I bid enough. And then I do try to tell them when I'm starting jobs way in advance.
Got this coming up.
Yep. Put it on your purview. Still, I may wait. And I do wait on my subs. So I may wait on my plumber 2 weeks. I may wait on Anthony Tucker for a month. Who knows when it's footer time.
Just tell them, say, hey, we can't start yet. I'm still waiting on him.
So I tell them.
That helps to get jobs lined in the correct order, doesn't it?
Yeah, unless they've closed on their new construction and then they're still impatient.
Yeah.
But tell them once it gets going, it'll get going. But until we get our ducks in a row for those people, they don't just work for me.
How about the people that want to be in by Christmas? That's awful,
No,
isn't it?
I don't give timelines anymore. Can't do it.
Especially coming through Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because time changes. So what you can do in August and September, you can't make the same time in November, December.
No.
And people will say, oh, I guess the subs are out of town. And they'll be calling you from out of town themselves.
Well,
so if they can go on vacation, why can't this
they don't think
roofer
you can.
go out of town?
They don't get to take vacations.
It's almost like they want to treat them as subclass or something.
Yeah.
Which irritates me.
And during starting spring, everybody's going on a vacation sometime,
Yeah.
1 or 2 even.
Why can't they go out of town?
Yeah.
They're supposed to not go out of town
Just
because
because they're building their house.
they chose to be a roofer.
Yeah. Everybody wants somebody there every day.
Yeah, but I've noticed that when a customer is really nice to the subs and is not in a hurry, the job will go faster. It's like the subs have to pick somewhere to go to, and they'll go to the job that's a little cleaner. Maybe it's got 2 porta toilets. The customer's nice. A few things like that. They'll tend to go there if there's any ambiguity to it.
Less stressful is what they choose first.
Yeah.
Clean job sites.
Clean job site.
And where somebody else isn't, and you don't have subs on top of subs.
Yeah. Or parking. Because if you go to a job and there's everybody in the driveway, you'd have to carry your stuff 100 feet, 100 yards. That'd make a big difference.
Yeah.
So I'm a big proponent of being nice to the subs, even though I don't act like it when I'm around them maybe, but I do respect that it's hard for them.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what else is going on
In life or general?
in general?
Busy all the time. Work. That's all I do is work.
No hobbies?
Building is the hobby. I don't have time to do vacation's my hobby if I ever get one.
If you had to build something yourself, what would it be?
For me to live in?
Yeah. If
Well,
you had to build a house to live in,
funny you should ask. So I bought Angie's house because they built a new house. So I bought her house next to Benwood in November, and I've been remodeling it since to make it what I want. So I should have been in it a long time ago, but I've got people doing everything else because we did take on some remodels too. I don't know why. So I've got people at my remodels instead of my house. So now my latest changes are the windows. So now I ordered all new windows, so I'm waiting on windows. So while I was waiting on windows, I looked at the front of the house and I was like, I think I'm gonna change this. So now I'm waiting on a framer. So I don't know. I like little Cape Cod, or I like bungalows, smaller craftsmen.
I've got a door at my house that's been off for 3 months, and I hadn't had anybody available to put it on.
I know. I feel your pain.
Isn't that crazy?
I know.
It's like the story of the cobbler's shoes.
Could never fix his shoes.
Those kids had no shoes because he didn't have time to make the kids' shoes.
Yeah.
Why did you want to buy her house?
I always liked it, and it's a great lot. It's a beautiful lot. It's a double lot, and it's got a carport and a separate garage, and it's cute, just cute. And it's my district. And my first house was across the street in English Oaks, and I built a house next to that one. And Benwood, I built several, and Stonebridge.
You feel comfortable on Old Parkville Road?
Yeah, it's nice. So I bought it.
And it's a pretty straight shot into town.
Oh yeah, just go behind it and jump on 64. Straight
How big's the
downtown.
house?
1,700 square feet, but enlarged it upstairs so far 300 more square feet or 400, and then I'm gonna make it a little bigger with the dormer. So
Do you think that, since the start of recorded time, the average house size is 1,650 square feet from the beginning to now? So that tells me that 1,650 square feet is the correct size.
optimal livable space.
But you would not be able to convince some people of that.
2,800 is what I build for people. That's what they all ask. They're like, we're going to downsize and do a smaller house. Then I get their plan, and it's 2,800.
Is that room over the garage included in that 2,800?
Yeah, because originally they don't think so, so they've got 2,200 on their plan, but then they want to finish that. We'll just finish that because it doesn't cost anything. People don't think that costs
Oh yeah,
anything.
just put some plywood up there.
that didn't cost
and and then the electrical inspection wants you to wire it.
Yeah.
Then if you wire it, you got to sheetrock it. And if you sheetrock, you might as well paint it. And how are you going to leave it painted without putting carpet? Next thing you know, you got a room.
Yes.
There's never been a house that's got a room over a garage that supposedly cost anything.
I know.
It was all free.
That's what they think. I don't know how they come up with that.
So 2,200 is the main level. Now these are more of the houses are getting more narrower than
So they're
long
two-story.
because the lots are more narrow.
Everybody wants to maximize space, so they put more lots in a subdivision instead of giving you more room outside.
I believe that the future families will downsize their house, and I believe they'll cut out a lot of the frills, and they'll have a nice house that's smaller, that's easy to pay for, easy electricity, and I believe they'll go on vacations. Because I don't believe the new generations are going to want to work 30 years to pay for a bonus room over the garage.
Yeah, but what are the frills they would cut out?
Well, like granite countertops.
That's basic, though, now.
It's $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah. So you got Cleveland Countertops that still does Formica, but they're the only people that I know of.
I believe that people will go more towards that. I really do, because I think the more people now are more interested in experiences and entertainment than they are to impress their friends that I've got a 4,000 square foot house with granite countertops.
Maybe.
I just don't think that they're going to want to pay. Sure, everybody wants it, but I don't think that the new generation is going to want to pay for it.
Or work that long to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you was to get a 5-year, if you don't get a 30-year mortgage, and you get a 5-year balloon note, in 5 years, if interest is up 2%, the amount you've been paying on that loan, it'll still be the same. If they don't reappraise it and the economy go down and make you put more money in it. Nobody ever thinks about that.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully our appraisals will stay high if everybody from out of town continues to come in and buy with cash. I'm hoping.
Is that what they're doing, buying it with cash?
Yeah. We're offering 10, 15 over. As long as they continue to do that, we'll be fine. And I think the appraisers are giving us 13% more. The new appraisals, the basic, bottom line or whatever, 13% more for the lumber increase or during that time. And I think that will stay, but I mean, I'm wondering if they stop paying with cash, what happens?
Well, I think that what people are going to want is different than what they're wanting now. I don't think the economy is going to go bad. I think they're just going to want a different type of house. I don't believe the townhouses are going to still go booming because people are too independent to have a common house, common line. They're more independent than that, and they'd rather have they don't mind it being a small lot, but they just want it to be all their lot. And I think they'll just opt to that. Like if you go out to Las Vegas, I went out and drove to look at their subdivisions, and they were all these 1,400 square foot houses that were nice. They had a little front porch. Every house had a swimming pool, a detached garage, and a new car in the driveway. Well, around here, everybody's got a 3,000 square foot house, no swimming pool, a big front porch, and an old car. So they're not, when you get out west, they don't give the value to just what they're living in, but what they can be entertained with. And I'm not so sure they're not right. Mm-hmm. Because all you're doing is working to pay the interest.
And how long does it take?
A 2,800 square foot house costs what?
2,800 depends on the amenities, but 28 times 2. That's what I say.
Plus the lot?
Yeah. So you're almost $600,000.
$600,000 mortgage is what?
No idea. I don't even know what interest rate is right now.
Well, I believe it'd be about $2,500 a month.
Might be more than that. I've got one at $298, and it's $1,600.
I just think everything's going smaller. Like the smaller moon pies, the smaller Cokes.
Smaller, yeah, Cokes.
Everything's smaller.
I am building some customs that have downsized, like the 900 square foot. I couldn't imagine somebody want to build a 900 square foot, but they have everything they need.
I've got this house plan that I build that's 903 square feet. It's got everything in it you could possibly want. It's small, but it's got everything standard, and I built so many of them you wouldn't believe.
I've seen some of them, yeah.
I mean, they look nice, you know.
Yeah. I took your house plan and turned it sideways, kind of, and I put some dormer and gables on them. Mine are 1,100.
But when you do all that, now you're 1,100 feet.
Yeah.
You got to cut all that out and be basic.
Yeah. I'm on Johnson Boulevard in that area, and I've been buying up lots, tearing houses down, trying to bring the neighborhood back up, and I put these on them and sell them. And don't rent them. Because home ownership is better than rental, and you get people that want to invest in the area they're in.
Yeah. I'd rather have those as apartments, because I think they'll go up in value more. You know, speaking of that moon pie, I went down to what do they call it, moon pie in Chattanooga, and they had a box of those. I was killing some time, and I bought some RC colas and some of those moon pies, and they were this big around, and I was still eating it like this. I forgot, because the moon pie is big, and I was eating it like a moon pie, but
Big
it was
one.
the size of a cookie. They had tricked me.
Snack
They had
size.
tricked me into thinking it was a real moon pie.
Snack size.
Do you ever aspire to get into politics in a bigger way?
No. I used to, but no.
Why not?
It's too corrupt for me. I'm not corrupt enough.
I believe you could get with them if you had to.
Oh, I will. But
You're no stranger to a little controversy, are you?
quite a bit. It's fine. And it's only controversy because people are being called out.
Do you look at it as just the end of an inning and the game's still on? No problem. It's over.
That's what I think.
I mean, it's not like you're going to get up there and say this or that, and now we're going to be mad forever. It's just over. That's
Yeah.
the end of the inning. See
Move
y'all
on.
see y'all at the next game. No
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
Nobody's mad. That was my opinion, and I could be wrong.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You shouldn't get called out for your vote or mad at me because I have an opinion about my vote. I vote my conscience. So,
Do you think a public official is supposed to vote, is there to vote for his constituents or for the greater good of the whole thing? Because that's a big difference.
it is. And that's a dilemma you face at every vote. Sometimes you have to, your constituents are maybe all on this front row watching you, and they've all told you, we want you to vote this way because this is how we feel about this subject you're on. But then the greater good, you see and you know more and you have more information about why this vote would be good for the greater good, even though those constituents on the front row disagree. The greater good, should it outweigh those voters? Most of the time, greater good should be, in my opinion, what you vote for. And even though you make those constituents mad, the greater good, you're not just there for your district. You're there for all of Bradley County or whatever position you're in. You're for the totality. So the greater good, I think, should be your vote, even though those people may not vote for you in the next election.
That's okay. It's just $600 anyway, right?
Yeah.
Or $800.
Right. Yeah, I
whatever.
don't hang my hat on that. Yeah, you can unelect me tomorrow. If you don't reelect me, hey, I enjoyed serving you. I would rather talk to my constituents than go into all the meetings that they have that's most of the time BS. It's just a lot of hot air, no reason to be meeting. So I would rather talk to my constituents one-on-one. I enjoy doing that. But if they don't reelect me, if they don't think I've done a good job in the next election, it doesn't matter. Because I'm not going to spend a dime of my money to get reelected.
You ever have this subject you say, boy, I was wrong on that one?
I have one, maybe two. Most of the time, I vote how I really think it should go.
When I was on the planning commission, I can think of 3 times specifically that I was wrong. I should have voted the other way.
I've got one like
that. But
that.
at the time, I really thought it was the right thing to do.
Until later, and you look back.
Later on, I say, you know, that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got one like that.
What can you do?
Apologize and move on.
Well, just move on. Maybe I'm wrong that I was wrong.
I apologized.
Right.
I apologized on the one I know about.
And you just didn't have the information?
That was the BZA. No, I just did it for the wrong reasons at that time. And it was right after that. That's when I was like, I don't care what it is anymore. I'm voting the way I think. I don't care what anybody thinks. Or, for the greater good. Not just because one person told me to vote a certain way.
Yeah. It's always a slippery slope, isn't it? What do you think? Now, why would you not aspire to be a big state representative and see if there's other things can change? Maybe it's easier to change stuff higher up.
I don't like Nashville. Too many liberals. I don't want to drive back and forth, waste my gas and time. I won't even go to Chattanooga because they defunded their police $2.2 million. I don't spend any tax dollars there, but I just hate that drive to Nashville.
It's a long drive, isn't it?
It is. I just don't wish to have that life, going back and forth, doing that. I can serve here and try to make a difference and do the best I can do, and that's all.
So if it was in Etowah, you'd run?
If I was in Etowah,
No, if it was in Etowah instead of driving to Nashville?
Yeah, that'd be closer. Yeah. That's probably my biggest hang up is that it was in too far away. I hate Montego Mountain.
But you won handily. You're very popular in your district.
I think so. Yeah.
You must be doing a good job.
I think I do, personally.
So if this is if you're doing stuff if you try to do stuff for the greater good, then why wouldn't you run for a bigger office?
I don't know. Good question. Don't have enough money to spend in Nashville, let's put it that way.
Wonder if that's expensive to run.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. And we've got good representatives right now.
I know a guy that was here, Charles Van Morgan, that's running for governor, and he's on Facebook every night. He's going to every city there is in Tennessee. You look him up on Facebook. He's working himself to death. And I don't know if that's what it takes, but if hard work does it, he'll win. But that may not be what it takes. If money takes it, he probably won't win.
I'd say shaking the hands of the voters that are going to vote for you and asking for their vote. That's how you win elections.
He's doing that. Now, who was it that Alexander walked across Tennessee with a checkered red shirt?
I remember that. I was little.
What was it he did? I can't remember the specifics. Did he literally walk the whole state or just...
Oh, I think he got in a car back and forth. He just walked. I don't know, though. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he actually physically walked, but he must have had a lot of red shirts.
Yeah, and it was a flannel. He was trying to act like a commoner,
I guess.
I guess. What do you think about the... now, the county commission, what is it? Does it so much fall under its umbrella? I mean, to the layman like me, we don't even know what a county commissioner does except votes on the budget.
Literally, our only two jobs are to create the budget and vote on it, or approve the budget, and to set the tax rate. That's it. But we get calls for everything else. So we just try to help whatever the situation is that somebody asks us about.
Can you vote on the situation?
If it comes down to something that needs a resolution.
So you set resolutions?
Yeah, but only if it's something we can do. There's all kinds of things that people think we can do that we can't.
What's a resolution?
It's like an ordinance, but we don't have the right to do ordinances. Only the city does. We could grant ourselves the power to create ordinances like the city, like ordinance to set the height of your grass, or the noise ordinance, things like that.
You can do that?
We would have to give ourselves special permission, and if we did that, it's like a 2/3 vote, and you have to vote on it every year to allow yourself that power.
To keep doing it.
But that's a slippery slope. So we just let the city handle ordinances, and we don't make laws.
So the county has no ordinances?
No, we do not make laws. Because just imagine, there's 14 of us, and everybody's got a good idea because they live next to somebody that offends them or does this or does that, and they might wake up the next morning and say, I'm going to create an ordinance that you can't have 2 dogs barking at the same time when you take them on a walk. Just dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, isn't that one reason the people move to the county is that there's less rules?
Get away from it. So.
Is there zoning in the county?
Well, yeah, everybody has zoning. That's the planning department, so yeah.
Now, Brandon County didn't used to have zoning, right?
I'm not sure when they got, was it 96 that we got a planning department?
I believe it was 96.
So 96 is when everything started.
Very vague zoning.
Yeah, I'd say 96 is when everything, if we did have it, 96, everything got fixed and revamped.
So, now as the city expands, can the city just say, okay, we're going to take over, we're going to take in this area? That gets complicated.
Well, they can't annex anymore. The forced annexation
Could
law was 5 years ago.
Could they used to annex?
Yes.
By what? Just deciding to?
Yeah, I think so. If it was in the urban growth boundary.
Who said? See, that all confuses me.
Me too. It was like a 20-year urban growth boundary thing.
Who sets that, right?
Who knows? Yeah, and how did the city decide they were going to take county property within 20 years?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if both of them got together and they decided this is going to be the urban growth boundary or what. But yeah, as long as it was in it, then they could annex and they gave notice.
But if you're out here in the county and you've got a bad septic tank and you're wanting to give your 3 acres to your son to build his house, but you've got bad soil, you want sewer. Mm-hmm. Well, only way to get sewer is to be taken into the city and letting them bring sewer to you in 8 years.
So you have to request annexation.
You have to request annexation.
And then if it's not a contiguous, or however you say that, line, like if you don't have anything touching the city,
right?
Then you have to go and get an agreement, an interlocal agreement with the county and the city, and decide who's going to take over the road, who's going to take over what school, what this, what that.
Which is spot zoning, which they've said for years is
Can't
illegal.
do.
They said that for how many years?
Yeah, I know.
And all of a sudden they've said,
backpedaling.
I don't understand that. If it was wrong then, why is it okay now? That's an odd thing to me. But now if the county had sewer, then they wouldn't want to be in the city, right? There was no other reason to be in the city other than for sewer.
Right, that's the city's niche.
Is there another need to be in the city?
Sanitation, maybe.
Sanitation, maybe you like the
Leash
schools
law.
better.
Well, we have
maybe
a state leash law, but dog pickup, maybe.
Other than, so really the only reason is strictly
sewer.
For sewer. And it's not even for water now that they've got, what they call Oco Utilities, since they've got that.
And we've got East Side that comes up, lead mines, and other areas, And then I think Savannah is on the Georgetown area.
So there's no other reason except for sewer. Mm-hmm. So now I've heard this Dennis Epperson's big on this sewer thing. I don't
sewer study.
Sewer study. So they're not doing sewer; they're just studying it.
We're studying it to see where the greatest need is, and is there a plan to go with the city of Cleveland or Cleveland Utilities? We've got some city councilmen that are just dead set against the county. No. Your people are never going to hook on to our Cleveland utility sewer. We're never going to expand and do that. But you've already got the utility districts. So getting an agreement with them or getting some of those city councilmen out that are so dead set against it and get somebody with some open minds to actually think about their constituents or their non-constituents or just, hey, Bradley County taxpayers, let's think about the greater totality here and the greater good of the people. Mm-hmm. If they would all get off their high horses and think about what they can do to serve the people that they're supposed to be there to serve, then our utility companies could expand, get the sewer plants that they need, bigger or whatever they need done, without raising taxes, because we got a lot of bullcrap in everybody's budgets, including the city of Cleveland's that raised theirs 28%, and nobody got any repercussions for that, even though they ran out of money. What did they do with all that money? We bought a dang hotel, the Summit. So sometimes you got to look at who's up there and what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. But we could have sewer for the places that need it. And, us as developers, when we do something, we have to pay for our sewer to come to that area. Mm-hmm. Or if it's in the city. But if we do septics and their land is no good, or say 20 years down the road, their land does not perk anymore.
Yeah,
because they say 20 years is all you're about guaranteed on a septic system. So then what? These people are Spring Place, Waterville, Water Level. Those places are named that because historically they had a lot of water.
Green Shadow Lake.
So we've got water issues. So nothing's going to perk in half of those places. And what about the rocky clays that we've got? So if these city councilmen and other people would come together and think about the people other than themselves, and let's get these utility districts that are out there to start doing this. But the sewer study, to go back to that, they're doing the sewer study to see where it's needed the most, and then we're going to try to work with these places to offer it. I mean, if we were going to do a sewer plant, we would not see anything for 30 to 40 years. I know people are out there saying, oh, they're going to take our land, and they just want to develop everywhere. Well, first of all, there's farmers that are selling their land for people to build on. You can't keep somebody from selling their property, so we're not taking it. These people are selling it willingly.
For a sewer.
No, for houses. You know, we get
Yeah.
the bad rap
Oh, yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
we're
yeah.
out here wanting to take people's land so that we can just develop, and then we want to tax the taxpayer to build a sewer plant. We don't want to do that. That is so far out of the realm of what we're looking at the sewer study. The sewer study is just to see who needs it and why do they need it and what's our problems and how we can fix it. And it's not just about sewer, it's about clean water. You know, we've got places that still don't have water to them.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. In 2021, we have people that clean water is unavailable to them, and they have a contaminated well. So
Next to a bad septic tank.
exactly, that's probably why their wells are no good. The leach fields are contaminating them. So we've got agreements with Cleveland Utilities, Ocoee Utilities, and if somebody can get water to them, we'll pay a third, and that's through the grants that we have and the HCI money from the hospital.
But the water line has to be big enough.
Yes, and it's got to be out that direction or
Fire
whatever.
hydrants and now you're affecting people's insurance rates.
Yeah, all that.
And you got to have the water pressure. You can't just run it like a water hose. You got to have the pressure when it gets there.
And then you've got areas that, like Leadmine Valley, Cleveland Utilities can service that road, but they won't service that road, and they won't let East Side Utilities service that road, even though East Side has said they will do it. This has been going for 20 years. They've got letters back and forth, and we've talked about this many times, and we're just asking, are you going to service it or not? And they go, well, we will. See, all they have to do is offer a plan of service for every 8 years. Then at the end of the 8 years, just write another plan of service for the projected next 8 years.
Just to plan it.
Yeah, but they never do.
Won't they just let East Side provide water?
It's that simple. That's how I look at it too. Why is this so complicated? But they've got their mile radius bubble that you can't touch. And it makes perfect sense to me and you. I don't get it. What's the problem?
Or run the water to them.
Yeah, run the water.
You know, if you could control utilities, you could control the country. Can you think of anything more powerful than the utilities?
No. And they're trying to make cable or internet a utility.
I do on my income tax.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but yeah, they're trying to make it.
And it is a utility, I guess, on that. But I don't know. I think that that it's very possible that in the future somebody will come up with a way for self-sustaining sewer systems for individual houses. And I think that 100 years from now, they'll look back on our society and say, do you know they had pipes running from every house to one place and they treated it, and all they needed was this thing the size of this that treats it. And I mean, if they can treat it at the water plant, why can't I treat it in my own thing?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make more sense? Then you could have it anywhere and you wouldn't have all these pipes. Think about all these pipes underground that restrict everything.
Yeah. Representative Mike Carter was working on systems like that because he thinks like, or he did, he just passed away. But he was telling me one time about a boat and the system they had on that boat.
Yeah, they do
and
there.
He's like, if they can do that there, we need to adapt this to the backyard.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Or some form of that. But pipes to everything and restricting the growth. And it also causes developments to be compacted into one spot, which wouldn't be if it was spread out more.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen in the future. I don't know how or what, but I do not think it's going to be subject to having a pipe come to your bathroom that's connected all the way to the city's utilities and subject to them going up or going down or whatever. We ought to invent that.
And we should.
If we did, we couldn't get it approved.
No, because it would take money out of somebody else's pocket.
Yep.
Corruption.
Now, what about What else can we talk about?
I don't know, because you told me we weren't going to talk about politics, and then you got
Oh, we weren't talking about politics. We're talking about the process.
process.
We didn't talk about any politics is how you feel about stuff, not the process.
Okay,
the
yeah.
process you can talk about, the
Yeah.
process. But now, where did you go to college?
Cleveland State,
4 years, 2 years then?
3.5.
3.5?
And then I finally got out with a business degree.
You know how long I went?
How long?
Half a day.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
I stood in the line. The line was too long and I left. If that line hadn't have been long, I might have had a degree.
Yeah.
Because it was just a bad, but I was building houses then.
Yeah. The degree
Yeah.
didn't do anything for me. I went to be X-ray technician, and then I went for Fortran, which was computer programming. I knew nothing about a computer, but I thought I did. Then the first year I was in there, that and something else disappeared and the internet came. So there was no more programming under that anyway. Then I was going to be a school teacher, and I did some student teaching, and I was like, oh no, I'm out of this. One day of that. And so then I just got my business, got out.
You've done a lot, hadn't you? And not much time in between.
No?
I mean, you had everything you've done has been overlapped
Yes.
by the next thing.
Yeah, there's no slowing down. Did installation too. I did some for you.
I don't remember that.
Stabilized cellulose.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's ground up newspaper.
Was that when David May was doing it?
Yeah. We did it. He had the truck. Yeah.
What about in high school? We went to Bradley?
Yes.
Did you have FFA?
No.
What'd you have?
Pre-college classes, nerd classes.
You were smart class people.
Yeah. Smart classes.
Were you in the H Hall?
No.
I was in the H Hall.
Yeah, no. I went through there a few times. No.
It's dangerous, wasn't
Yeah, I was scared. I didn't go over there.
it? Are you in the H Hall, Gwen? He's in the H Hall was a little different then, I believe.
They smoked still.
They smoked and
They
everything.
weren't supposed to, but.
You know, remember Bill Walker? Was he there when you were there? Was
Oh,
it Bill Walker? He was the head superintendent of schools.
no, who was it? He just passed away.
Farmer.
School board.
No. No, you're talking about Jerry Frazier. Yeah. No, this was
That's
Bill
who was there
Walker.
when I was
He
there.
I backed into his car
At school?
at school. I was in the car illegally. And, do you know, he said, "I'm sorry, son, I shouldn't have been parked behind there." And I
Wow.
never will forget that. He just let it go.
Didn't want to get you in trouble.
He was a really, really nice guy. I mean, and he shouldn't have been parked behind.
When did you graduate?
84. How about you?
91.
That's not too much difference, is it?
What is time?
You know, as you get older, you're more the same age as people. You know, as you get older, you're more of the same age.
Yeah.
So you used to seem a lot younger than me. Now we're about the same age. When we get to be 90, we'll be basically the same age,
You still going to be riding a bike at 90?
probably.
Good. I remember your first bike ride. At Habitat for Humanity, the bike ride.
Boy, looking back at that,
You made it, though.
I made it. Did you think I was crazy? I was so embarrassed when you saw me. When I came in, you were the first person I saw.
No, I wasn't embarrassed. I got you a banana, I think, or something, and made you sit down.
I was out of it. But that's the first
No.
time. That's like I'd been riding like a week, and I had an old bicycle that had the gears down here on the bottom. But I made it in. It was like 64 miles.
Oh, yeah, it was long.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the last one to come in, was I?
No.
But having that old bike was part of
Rough.
my problem. And
It was all for good cause.
but I'm doing. Why don't they have that anymore?
I'm not sure why they quit.
It was a pretty good thing. It was
Yeah.
getting wider
I thought it
known.
was getting
and-
more activity, more people coming to it.
Yeah, there was people from Chattanooga coming. It was sort of a thing. They had it for what, 5-6 years?
I think 5, maybe 6.
And so, was that the Habitat guy?
I think that was under 2 or 3 different. Yeah, I think Matt Carlson, and then I forget who took over, and then Tammy Johnson. I'm not sure if Tammy had it under her or not, But yeah, Habitat's good. I used to build a house a year.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, last year and this year we didn't participate, but next
COVID.
year we are. Yeah.
Did you make all your carpenters wear masks?
No, I don't make anybody wear a mask. That's your own decisions. You want me to tell you how I feel about it? That's another show.
We better.
Yeah, that's another show.
That's a whole nother show.
Oh, yeah.
So, this morning, did you go to church and then go to the office, or did you skip church?
Well, I had a reunion last night, so we got in pretty late. So didn't go to church. Actually got up eventually and went to brunch at 411 Restaurant.
Where's that at?
On 411 Highway going towards Benton, right before Burgess on the left. And saw Joseph Keel. He's the chef there. Had a
Now
nice,
wait, what buildings was there before he was there? Was it Pizza Place?
No, that's the one right before it. And then Ken Bishop's is on the right of him, I think, too. I don't know what that was. It's an old house looking, but
So this guy's, what's the name
it's next
of
to
it?
the ambulance place. The 411.
The 411.
Uh-huh.
You ever go to the Cajun Lady?
Yes, I have been once. Very good.
So why did you go to his place?
We've just been going here and there.
Who's we?
Norman Hammond and I. We like to go to
Who's he?
different brunch places. He owns HBR Power Sports, my boyfriend.
Yeah, he just moved in there, didn't he?
Yeah, he was at the corner of North Ocoee and 25th.
Yeah, in George's building.
Yes.
And then he moved over to,
Todd Dugan's building.
Todd Dugan's.
Car parts or whatever, yep. And then,
and I renovated the building to the left,
okay,
I believe.
not sure.
Yeah. No, he's across the street. So you went down there to brunch? Mm-hmm. Why there?
He just, Norman suggested it this morning. We were going to go to the press, but we've been to the press like 3 weeks in a row. So
Where's the press?
It is downtown.
Boy, I'm out of touch on it.
Yeah, you've got the press, and then you've got her boyfriend's brewery place. You got the Stack. It's all right there. I don't even know the name of the road. We just go. Close to the Cleveland jail, or not jail, but Cleveland.
Close to Mash
Got the
and
Catch.
Hops. Mash and Hops.
right
Yeah.
next door. Mash and Hops and the press.
Oh, the press is his wife.
And it's a wine.
Yeah.
And yeah.
They have brunch?
Yes.
Sunday brunch?
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
Oh, it's great.
What do they
Yeah.
have?
Beth Fennel. Shrimp and grits sometimes.
They have that much of a building there?
It's small, but
It's like 20 feet wide, isn't it? Or 30?
Yeah, it's awesome little place. I mean, we don't go to the north end of town. I don't eat at Chains or anywhere else. I practice what I preach, but we stay downtown. Go to the bistro, the press, Mash and Hops, and the Catch and the Stack, Cafe Roma.
So you was at Polk County eating at 411 what time?
12:31, maybe 1:30.
1:30?
Maybe.
Golly.
Maybe it might have been 12:30. We finished about 1:30.
What'd you eat?
Oh, I had chicken Benedict, but it had a white gravy instead of hollandaise.
Yeah, but was it like a breakfast eggs?
Mm-hmm. Poached egg. Yeah.
You know, it's odd to me that some of these restaurants are open on Sundays like that. You know, the small mom and pop places. Mm-hmm. I mean, how much business could they really do?
They were packed. Yeah.
Were there people in shorts like they were going to the river, or was it people in church clothes?
Both. Yep. I saw a bunch of people dressed up. Just came from church. Yeah, brunch is a big deal now. People like to see where they're going to go eat brunch.
Where did you go then? You said you went somewhere else.
Well, I had my car loaded down from the reunion, so I had to take a bunch of stuff to the office, and then I stayed there and did some paperwork, and then came right back here.
Boy, that's busy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I sit here and had coffee with George McCoy this morning.
Well, how nice.
Well, Charlotte, I'm glad you do not let any grass grow under you.
No, nothing like the present.
I want to encourage you to keep going because you're making a difference.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Learned
Thanks
a
for
lot
coming.
from you.